You see, I've always believed I was lucky to get anything. I grew up in poverty. My parents had separated when I was 2 weeks old. Mum took her 3 kids, including my brother Anton, who had a severe cleft lip and palate, back home to Prestatyn. With us to care for and 5 part-time jobs, she was exhausted and barely made enough money for food. My grandfather brought us potatoes and eggs, so we had egg and chips at least. On Saturday afternoons, the kind lady who owned the shop next to our garden would lay out leftover cakes that would not keep until Monday on the hedge. That was a special treat. There was definitely no money for presents. Anton and I would tuck under a eiderdown to keep warm, and scour the catalog for toys we'd ask Father Christmas for. Every night my list would change, and every night we would talk and imagine the games we'd play with the toys, knowing that we'd never get any because Mum had no money. We loved those evenings. Then Anton would say goodnight, kiss my forehead and go off to bed. I'd lie there thinking about the toys, as warm as toast as long as I didn't get out of bed as the flat was freezing cold. There was great excitement on my 4th birthday as Mum had an actual present for me, a big box which she had wrapped. I dashed out of bed that morning and tore it open. Inside there was a beautiful big bear. He was pink and white and about 16 inches tall with a big smile and a black nose. He was named Bungie. I hugged him like I'd never let him go and fell in love instantly. I didn't notice he only had 1 ear, which was why he was in the sale at Woolies. Who'd want a teddy with 1 ear? 4-year-old Carol did. Bungie has been with me since, through grief and joy. Always there. He's in my kitchen right now, a bit worse for wear, but he looks happy and loved. So, happy birthday Christmas birthday peeps, and a happy Christmas day to all. Funny how the things you love the most can cost so little. The pay battle we must win when working in London. I live with my RAF friends who are like a second family now. We've been talking of troops giving up their Christmas to train and cover those striking. I support the nurses and NHS staff, especially after the PPE scandals. Corruption and fraud during the COVID years has left the coffers more bare than ever. They didn't merely turn up for work during lockdowns, they cared for those we loved, and went through hell with around 1,500 extra deaths of care workers and NHS staff. They were our frontline troops during lockdowns, and now, temporarily, our military will take over as best they can. 2 groups of people I have the utmost respect for and neither paid what they deserve. How have we allowed the situation to end up like this? Hamza's eyes lit up. Prize I was on Strictly nearly 20 years ago and remain happy to admit my dancing was CP. Well, I danced like no one was watching. Sadly 10 million people were. This year Strictly became much more than the sum of its celebrity parts. It gave us all hope as we form a new world. Lifting the glitter ball was Hamza Yassin, left, with Jovita Gistal. Born in Sudan, he is super bright, a zoologist, environmentalist and cameraman, and what a dancer and a giver of joy. His words on winning reflect one of the ways I have chosen to live my life. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. Hamza, our eyes light up when we see you. In you, a new national treasure has been born. Time to call out vile bile spouted against women after the Harry and Meghan Netflix series. I'd heard more than enough discussion about every tiny nuance. But Jeremy Clarkson's take, that the Duchess ought to be paraded naked and have excrement thrown at her, didn't just cross the line, it obliterated it. Not on any level, in any circumstance, is it okay to write this stuff about any woman. It's time we all called out violent hatred of any woman. Whatever our thoughts about the couple, and I'm not particularly interested, Clarkson's words normalize hatred. Some comedians have said vile things about me to cause humiliation, and it did, but the worse end of humanity copies that behavior. It becomes acceptable to then humiliate others in normal life. But it isn't acceptable, it enables abusers. Well done to his daughter Emily, herself a victim of online hatred, who also joined the backlash against his comments. The house is alive with the sound of music. We all have our favorite Christmas films, and mine is The Sound of Music. I know all the words and love Mother Superior as she pops her hands into her gown and enters the chapel as graceful as a swan. My family groans, but I love singing, some might say screeching, every song out loud. When I had flu recently, I had a little practice watch just for good measure. I sang so much I think I set my throat back for days after. Ah well. It'll soon be Christmas. I'll be Sprout for the Count. As possibly Britain's biggest Sprout fan, I should be working for the Sprout marketing board. I eat 3 bags a week, and this time of year is heaven for anyone who loves the little green things. Richard Whiteley and I were both Christmas babies and obsessed with Sprouts. We'd talk about them on Countdown quite a lot, as regular viewers would know. Countdowners even had a name for them, they were known as the Wet Wang Wendy's, for obvious reasons. In our final week of recording before Christmas, the cook at the Countdown Studios in Leeds would give us a different Sprout dish every day: Sprout curry, Sprouts in puff pastry, Sprout lasagna, you name it, we'd love it. Only problem was not everyone shared our simple pleasure. The results were, shall we say, mixed. Oh dear.